Roar is a complete website solution for newspapers and magazines. This video gives a brief overview of Roar's features and how newspapers can increase their print advertising revenues and print circulation with a website powered by Roar. Roar also works well for online-only publications. So here we are at lionslight.com on the demo page. The demo consists of a mock newspaper website, what the public sees, and the staff interface, used by the staff to update the website. Let's go to the public website. The concept behind Roar is to provide small and medium-sized publications with feature-rich websites that are beautiful, functional, and reduce staff time, including for non-website related tasks. Everything you see here on the home page automatically generates stories, photos, sections, navigation, drop-down menus, you name it. Even photos crop and resize automatically. As we click around, you'll see various shapes and sizes of the same images. However, you only need to upload a single image upon databasing your stories. The slide shows a good example. Here's a horizontal. There's another one right there, and that's the same image as that. It's been cropped and resized to fit. All you'll need to do to have a website like this is spend a few minutes each issue databasing your articles into the staff interface. It's quick and easy. Let's look at the home page starting in the upper left corner. You have an RSS link. It automatically populates with articles from the current edition. This is a paid publication website, so you'll see there's a free trial link here. That's optional. And there's also a subscribe and a sign in link. If you decided you wanted your Roar installation, your newspaper, to be a free publication, then maybe there wouldn't be a free trial and maybe these two links would disappear. However, you could also make it a free publication that requires registration, and so there would be no free trial. Subscribe would become register, and sign in and would still be here. It's all based on how you want to set your site up. There's a ton of options in the Roar control panel that both you and our staff have access to. Then of course you have your standard links across the top: home, advertise, your advertising page. You might have a thumbnail here of your ad rate card, and you decide what goes here on the left, whether it's text or HTML. You have a store. The store is an optional feature, and you can see I have a view cart link here. The reason this is here is because I've already been toying around on the site and I have a few items in my cart. I have a few items from the store that I've added. They're under products, and it looks like I've also done a subscription renewal. I'm going to delete the subscription renewal just so you can see what it's like when we actually add that. You have your classifieds. This is of course another optional feature. You can either browse ads or you can place an ad. We're browsing ads now. Let's place an ad. The ad placement form is much like Craigslist's in that you select the category, enter the ad title and the ad text. You're going to choose a start date, and then you choose the number of weeks that you run it for. And just like Craigslist, you have a link here to add images. This form accepts up to 4 images. Everything on this entire form is customizable to what you need for your newspaper. And when somebody clicks submit, it's basically going to just add it to the cart. So as we saw a moment ago, we have 2 products in the cart. Let's look at the home page, and then we'll get into how you can renew a subscription, and we'll look at how stories work. That's all fairly intermingled. So you have your stories on the home page. Again, this is set up as a paid publication website. Some of my stories are full stories, meaning they're free, and if I click on one, it brings me to the story in its entirety. And just an FYI, it looks like this story is part of a series. You can do series as well. So this story is in the news section. It looks like it's got some clickable words. What are those? Well, pretend this is the name of your governor. If I click on it, it finds the name, or it finds every story mentioning the name of your governor. This is a really cool feature inside of Roar. Also, whether you're on a story or you're viewing a search, or whether you're viewing stories from, say, the news section or the business section or whatever, doesn't matter. If you see an author's name, you can click on it and you'll find all articles by that author. If I click on an issue date, it'll find all articles from that edition. Or just like on other websites, you could simply search. So Aurora is very powerful in the search area, and sometimes what search engines see is if I'm on a story that has clickable phrases, if this is the name of your governor, for example, again, and if that's clickable to a search engines see that. You've laid a grid over your articles, and that works well for you on the search engines, but it's also nice for your readers. Same with, clicking on author names and sections and issue dates and such. So some stories are full stories, some stories are not. If I click on a story that's not, what do I get? Again, this is another story from the Recipes series. It looks like it's the second story in the series. And this story ends in ... and at the end it says, for access to this article, please sign in or subscribe. So if I decide I want to sign in, maybe I sign in like this, and there's a link if I forgot my password and things like that. So now I'm on the full version of the story, and here in the upper right corner it says demo. That's my username. I'm logged in, that's why it's there. If I click on it, I can change my password, I can edit my mailing address, contact info, etc. But I can also renew my subscription. Subscribe. I clicked on subscribe. I'm on the beginning of the subscription form, and if I weren't logged in, I wouldn't be able to select the renewal button here, but I am. So I'll click subscribe now. It fills the form out for me because it knows my name, and so basically I'm just going to click continue. I've already chosen a 1-year subscription at the top. So here's the items in my cart. This is kind of a larger than life view, but let's go to the normal cart view. So now I've got a subscription renewal in there. I've got a couple products in there. I could go back and I could do multiple subscriptions, but they wouldn't be able. You can only do one renewal. So you could subscribe for as many people in the office as you liked, etc. So one thing we probably didn't cover that we should on the home page is the slideshows. These slideshows, as I mentioned, they automatically generate. They automatically scroll through the different stories. If I click here, I can speed it up, so now I'm speeding it up. And of course, if you click on one, it brings you to the story. And on the bottom of the home page, there's another slideshow. This one you scroll right and left on. To populate those slideshows, all you have to do on the staff interface, and we'll go there. Let's go to the staff interface. And I'll log in. When you database your stories, and that's where we're at, is the Stories tab, I'll just find all the stories in the database. There's only the June 1st edition is the only edition database in the demo, so that makes it easy. Let's click on headline 3. Basically, I've already uploaded my photos to this story. They're down here. If I want one of the main photos to appear in the photo spread at the top of the home page, I check that box. If I want one to be in the bottom, I check that box, or neither, or just one. It's kind of a take your pick situation. Here's where I've selected the section. Here's where I've said this is part of a series. Really, all you're going to be doing, the stuff in the blue is going to be populated for you. You might just select your section, check one of these boxes, paste in your headline, your byline, and then the body field of the article. Body fields in articles are allowed. They allow any HTML that you want. So basically, you could embed an iframe from Google if you wanted a calendar. You could embed a full-width movie from YouTube. You could do anything you want. You could even, for example, have a subhead. Maybe my subhead. And of course I'd like my subhead to be bold, so I'll just bold it. Now let's entering a story, because the date, the issue date, and the volume number, and the story number, all that's going to be remembered, and you only have to do it on the first story you enter, is really, it probably takes you 30 seconds. So, and then you might want to preview it. Now I'm previewing it, and maybe I want this word or phrase here to become clickable. I want it, this is the name of the Department of the Interior. Maybe I want it to be clickable, so I paste it in here at the top, and I click Add Save, and it'll be clickable on every story it ever appears in. You'll never have to add that phrase again. Now it'll also add it to the meta keywords in the story and everything, so all this helps search engines. And when you want to upload your photos, you just go to Save and go to Photo Editor. We're in the demo, so we can't see the actual buttons here. There should be an upload and a save button. But basically, you start here. Here's your main upper left photo on the story. Here's the lower right. Here's the author photo. If I change it here, it changes it site-wide for all articles that has this author as his name in the byline. And you've got some side photos here, and they go on and down. You can have up to 8 side photos. That includes the author photo. So it looks like you can have up to 10 photos on a story, and it would do a bulk upload of the photos. You can add your cut lines and your hot links, like maybe you want the photo when clicked on to go somewhere, you can do that, but most publications just leave that blank. If you wanted to use a YouTube video instead of a photo, you just paste the embed code right there, and it'll just put a movie in those locations. It's pretty neat. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just peruse the rest of the staff interface, and we might jump back into the mock home page. But you have a photos page. This is a photos tab, and this is where you upload photos to the photos page. On the front end, the photos page looks like this. Here are the photos. It's basically a dumping ground. If you have a lot of photos and they had too many to make it into the paper, you might put them here and put a headline above it. And if I click on one, it opens the photo, and I can just kind of move through them. Everything is automated. All you did was upload the photos, and Roar created the thumbnail and the larger version. It even creates the slideshow here by taking the first photo from each grouping. If you only have one grouping, such as the previous edition, I happen to know there was only one grouping, then of course there's no slideshow. But I can still click on a photo and start moving through it. Snap back to the recent, etc. So that's where you upload your photos. I won't get into showing you, but it's very easy to do. And you can do it in a bulk upload process. The blog tab, what is that? Well, there is no blog per se, but you'll notice on the home page that there is most popular, and we have blogged and viewed. Technically, these are reader comments. So these stories here have reader comments on them, and this was the most recent one made. So let's click on it. It brings us to headline 11. I can see there's 4 reader comments, and if I click here, it'll snap me down the page. I'm still on the story. Here's the reader comments. If I want to add my comment, I can add my comment. I'm logged in, and right now the demo requires me to be logged in to leave a comment. You can set that up however you like. And you'll add your comment, and that's that. But on the back end, the blog tab, let's click off of it. If I click off of it, I can see a 2 there. That means there's 2 comments waiting to be processed. I can also see a flag. That means a reader has flagged a comment. So let's click here, and if I click here, I'd go to the 2 comments that were flagged, and I could either delete them or unflag them. The public can never flag a comment that you've approved, so this is not going to be an endless game of flag and unflag. But these 2 comments are waiting to be processed. Roar tries to save you time while giving you high-end features. You need a single click approval process, and that's what we gave you. If you mouse over the green checkbox, there's the comment. If I click it, it's going to send the person an email and say, his name is Bob Smith, it looks like. It'll say, thank you Bob, your comment has been posted. It'll disappear from the list, and it'll move itself over into the approved entries, the ones that are live on the site. However, what if you don't want to post this comment? Well, clicking yes would do the same thing as clicking on the green checkbox. That mail tag there, mail icon, indicates that there's going to be an email sent. Let's click no. So each of these buttons will do exactly what it says. It will not post it, and this one will send him an email that says, "I'm sorry, Bob, your comment does not relate to the article." You can see there's going to be an email sent because of the icon. You can also send him an email saying he's blocked for 7 days, or you could just block him permanently, no email sent. Your orders tab, this is where subscription orders and classified orders and what else? Subscriptions, classifieds, and store orders flow into. The orders that are in yellow are incomplete. That means the person started the process of placing the order, but they never checked out through PayPal. They never paid. So they tell you, they're essentially telling you this is revenues that you would never know that you lost because, well, the person didn't check out. But Roar actually tells you, so you can call the person and say, "Hey, would you like to subscribe? Would you like to buy this product?" etc. Also, what also flows into the top of the orders page is changed user information. So if somebody goes and changes their password or their address or their secondary email address or their main email address or their whatever, it flows in here, and you can either change them one at a time or process them one at a time by just clicking on it. There, the stuff in yellow is what was changed. You're on the person's My Account page basically, and you could just copy this password, put it in your database. Now, speaking of passwords, you will never have unencrypted passwords in your local subscriptions database. Your employees will never see your readers' passwords. They will always look like gobbledygook, garbled text. So I could process it, it would disappear from the list, or I could click go back, or if there was a ton of them and I didn't want to do them one at a time, I could export them to a CSV file, and then I would just import those changes real fast into my local database. Very easy. Trial subscriptions flow in. Orders, the next two tables here, ignore the BOSP subscriptions. That's for bulk online subscriptions, and if you want to know how to use that feature, ask. We'd be happy to help you. But the last two tables are essentially the same thing. Orders from existing users, orders from new users. We break it down. This just tells you that the person was logged in, so they're obviously a subscriber. And this just tells you that they were not logged in, so they're probably not a subscriber. That's the only difference between those two tables. Your rotating web ads, this is what the form looks like for uploading ads. You essentially just choose your company name. Do I want it posted? You can add it and remove it to the site that easily. You can assign a start date and an expiration date to your ads if you want, or you can leave those blank. And then you'll have a spot here to upload the image, and you put in where it links to. And that's the gist of that. You have various ad sizes on your home page. You'll see you've got a business card sized ad here. That's your website sponsorship ad. Most publications find it difficult to sell web ads, but this one you actually can sell quite successfully. The other ones, most newspapers that use Roar, they give away the other ads, and they give away listings in the business directory as perks if the person advertises in the print edition, or as we like to do it, if they contract advertise in the print edition. If you can raise the amount of contracted advertisers, get your existing advertisers to contract, your ad staff will be able to free their time up to go after new leads. So it doesn't really matter if the money comes into the left pocket or the right pocket. The goal is to try to free up your time and allow you to sell more into your paper. So you have this size ad, you have these square ads, and the square ads can be any height. They could even be narrower if you wanted to. And then at the bottom of the home page you have the horizontal ad. You'll notice if you click on a story, this story has a movie from YouTube embedded in it. You'll notice that the masthead changes to allow for a larger ad. There's various other spots on the site where the ads go, but you get the idea. The store is much the same as the ads in that you go, let's go to a special publication, or no, yeah, special publication that's for sale. This special publication is for sale. If I want to remove it from the store, I just uncheck this box. If you want to make the item go for sale, then you fill out a lower price than this middle field here that says price with $6 in it, and you put something lower than $6, and what it does inside the store is it crosses out the price and puts a sale price next to it. So this item's on sale, this item is not. And you put in a weight of the item so that the U.S. Post Office's shipping calculator can calculate shipping and handling for you. You'll select your section here, or you'll create a new section, and then you're just going to have your title and your description. And below there's a full description if you wanted to type endlessly about the item, but if you don't type it, then it's just going to use the brief description. Your subscribers tab, this is kind of a cool feature. A lot of circulation managers would die for this feature. So here's there's only 4 users in the database. You can have an email address as a username if you want to. However, the system will try to prompt them to choose a real username if they ever try to leave a reader comment, because we don't want their email address posted on a reader comment. But in general, you can still have email addresses as usernames. Say you want to add somebody quickly, you'll just click Show Quick Add Form, and there's a quick form there for adding it. Maybe you want to, the concept, let me just add this, the concept of this subscriptions database is your existing subscribers database remains the same. You won't do anything different with that database. You'll just export it on a regular basis to replace this web database. How do you do that? You click on Admin Controls. First I would back up this online database, so I'm just going to click Back Up. Since Restore Database has turned green, that means it's been backed up within 24 hours. And now I would browse for my CSV file that I've exported and click Import. And after importing it, maybe I would just click Find User to see if it finds anybody. And if I do and it finds somebody, then I know that I uploaded the database properly. What does a listing look like? Well, let's just go to Dan Smith here. He's one of my users. Maybe Dan calls me on the phone and says I forgot my password. Well, I would just click this and reset his password and email a link to him so he can reset it. If it's not Dan, then he wouldn't have gotten the email. I can override his expiration date for the print and the online. I can change his address and things like that. But this is almost the same My Account page that he sees, except he doesn't have the ability to reset his password with that button. He would just click Change Password, and he doesn't have the ability to edit these fields, but you can because you're coming in from the staff interface. So this BOSP tab I mentioned, that's the Bulk Online Subscription Plan, and if you want to know more about that, let us know. The email tab is where you'll put together an email to send to your subscribers or your readers. It just helps you prepare the text. Classifieds, ads come in just like reader comments, and you'll click on one and you'll view the ad and you'll process it. And if it were a bogus ad, like a puppy mill ad, a lot of publications get these bogus ads nowadays, there's a fairly simple process to reverse the ad and reverse the transaction. Your directory link, this is where you might go to these pictures are just for examples purposes, but maybe I want to have XYZ Computer Services be in various categories, so I can check whatever categories I want, any number. You can upload a company logo. You can upload miscellaneous images. Maybe one of those images is a picture of a staff, maybe another one is an advertisement or a coupon. You take your pick. And then scrolling down the page, you select who your contact person is on his phone and his email and website, his address, and then you got some listing text. Just like in stories, if you have a break in your text, Roar is going to recognize that break and insert a paragraph tag between it. So you don't ever have to worry about formatting your text. So that's the gist of the back end. You do have a FAQ page which will answer any and every question imaginable. You also have a control panel, and this is where we're going to set up everything imaginable about your website. We don't use plugins. Instead, we just turn on and off and modify features. And there's so many features to modify. You have one of the unique things about Roar is you're going to have access to an actual control panel. So a cPanel. So if you're used to having a cPanel right now, and I don't mean this control panel that I just showed you, but I mean an actual cPanel on your server. So if you're used to setting up your own email accounts and things like that and having your own real server, well, you'll still have one. trying to think if there's anything else that I can show you, and I think that's it. However, I know that whenever somebody has interest, they always have questions, and I would encourage you to contact us if you do. Thank you for your time.